Section 1. The shocking reality. Here's a statistic that most of us rarely are made aware of. Only 0.5%, that's 0.5%, of big projects actually deliver what they promised on time, on budget, and with the benefits they said they'd bring. Think about that for a second. If you're starting a business, launching a product, or planning any major initiative, you've got a 99.5% chance of missing at least one of your key targets. That's not just big corporate projects, that's restaurants, startups, app launches, you name it. In their book, How Big Things Get Done, the authors Bent Flyvbjerg and Gardner spent decades studying why projects fail and what that the rare successful ones do differently. And what they found isn't what you'd expect. The secret isn't about working harder or being smarter. It's about completely flipping when and how you think versus when you act. Section 2. Think slow, act fast. The golden rule is this. Think slow, act fast. Sounds simple, but most of us do the exact opposite. We rush to start doing stuff because action feels productive. Then we end up stuck in what they call the break-fix cycle, constantly solving problems we could have avoided. Here's the thing. There are two phases to any project. The planning phase, where mistakes are cheap and easy to fix, and the execution phase, where every mistake costs you time, money, and sometimes your entire business. Smart entrepreneurs spend way more time in the planning phase than feels comfortable. Pixar, for example, spends years, literally years, developing and testing their movie concepts before they start the expensive animation. Amazon makes teams write the press release for a product before they build anything. Why? Because changing your mind on paper costs nothing. Changing your mind after you've hired people, bought equipment, or launched to customers, that's where businesses die. Section 3. The Planning Toolkit. So, what does good planning actually look like? 3 key frameworks to help you plan better. First, start with the end goal in mind. They call this backcasting. Instead of asking, what should we build? Ask, what does success look like in 2 years? Then work backwards. Write that press release for your successful business. Describe your ideal customer experience. Then figure out what needs to happen to make that real. Second, use reference class forecasting. Fancy name for simple idea. Look at businesses such as yours and see how they actually performed, not just the success stories. If you're opening a restaurant, 60% fail in the first year. That's not pessimism, that's data. Plan for the reality, not the dream. Third, embrace the Pixar process. Build rough versions, get feedback, and iterate like crazy before you go big. Most of us are terrible at getting things right the first time, but we're great at making improvements. So lean into that. Create your minimum viable version, test it with real people, learn what works and what doesn't, then improve it. Do this 8, 10, 12 times if you need to. Let's discuss in more detail about the Pixar process as it provides a lot of lessons that one can implement in their work or business or even in our personal lives. The Pixar process. When Pixar makes a movie, they don't start with cameras rolling. They don't even start with final scripts. They start with what looks like the most inefficient process imaginable, and it's exactly why they've never had a flop. Here's how it actually works and why you should steal this process for your business. The Pixar method breakdown. First, the director gets unlimited time to just think, not plan, not execute, just explore ideas and develop concepts. No pressure to produce anything sellable yet. They're asking big questions. What story do we want to tell? What emotion are we trying to create? Why would anyone care? Then they write a simple document explaining how this concept becomes a story, not a script, just the basic idea. And here's where it gets interesting. They immediately share it with everyone, other directors, animators, story experts, everyone. They tear it apart. What works? What doesn't? What's confusing? What's missing? Most companies would take that feedback and make a few tweaks. Pixar throws the whole thing out and starts over. They rewrite completely. Then they do it again. and again, sometimes 8 times before they're satisfied with just the basic concept. From concept to crude reality. Once they have a solid concept, they create the script, but they don't jump to production. They build what they call storyboards, basically a crude comic book version of the entire movie. Crude drawings showing every scene, every emotion, every plot point. This is their minimum viable product. They can watch this rough version and see how the story actually flows. Does the middle drag? Is the ending satisfying? Are the characters compelling? They find out before spending millions on animation. Then comes the brutal part. They show this crude version to employees who haven't been involved in the process. Fresh eyes, real feedback. And a committee of experts reviews everything and shares honest critiques. Based on that feedback, they rewrite the entire script and create new storyboards. Not just tweaks, complete rewrites. They'll do the cycle 8 times on average before they ever start the expensive production phase. Why this works for any business. Think about what's happening here. Pixar is catching every possible failure point when it costs almost nothing to fix. A bad story concept costs maybe a few weeks of thinking time. A bad movie costs $200 million dollars and destroys careers. But here's the business genius. This same process works for anything. Want to start a consulting practice? Don't build your website and start networking. First, spend time just thinking about what problem you're really solving. Write a simple document explaining your approach, share it with potential clients, and get their feedback. Rewrite it completely based on what you learn. Then create your storyboard. Maybe it's a detailed outline of your first client engagement or a prototype of your training program. Test this rough version with friendly clients, get honest feedback, iterate like crazy. Only when you've refined your approach through multiple cycles do you invest in the expensive stuff, the fancy website, the office space, the full marketing push. The hidden psychology. What Pixar discovered is that we all suffer from what psychologists call illusion of explanatory depth. We think we understand complex things much better than we actually do. But when we try to explain our ideas to others, the gaps become obvious immediately. Most entrepreneurs skip this step. They keep their brilliant ideas in their heads where they seem perfect, then wonder why execution is so hard. Pixar forces everything out in the open where it can be improved. The other genius move is they separate thinking from doing completely. During the planning phase, everything is changeable. Wild ideas are encouraged, failure is expected and cheap. But once they move to production, the plan is locked and execution is fast and focused. Section 4. Smart Execution Strategy. When you're finally ready to execute, 2 principles will save you. First, maximize experience wherever possible. This goes against our entrepreneur instinct to innovate everything. But here's the truth. Being first to market is usually a losing strategy. The most successful companies are fast followers who learn from the pioneers' mistakes. Apple didn't invent the smartphone or the MP3 player. They perfected them. Hire people who've done this before, even if they cost more. Use proven technology, even if it's not the newest. Copy successful business models from other industries. Your innovation budget should go toward doing proven things better, not inventing everything from scratch. Second, think modular. Ask yourself, what's my Lego brick? What's the smallest unit of my business that you can perfect and then replicate? Maybe it's a single service package or one product line or a specific customer experience. Get that one unit profitable and smooth, then scale by adding more units, not by making everything bigger and more complex. Let's understand in a bit more detail about the modularity, as it's a key concept that can help us a lot in the way we make plans. What's your Lego brick? Elon Musk asked himself this exact question when building Tesla's factories. Instead of trying to build one massive, perfect production line, he started with the smallest unit that could work, one station that could get the job done reliably. Perfect that single station, then connect it to another identical station, then another. Before you know it, you've got a factory. The power of small, repeatable units. Most entrepreneurs think big from day one. I want a restaurant empire. But rather than think big, think small first. What's the smallest thing you can build that customers would actually pay for? That's your Lego brick. Take McDonald's. Their Lego brick isn't fast food restaurant. It's a specific system for making a burger in 90 seconds that tastes exactly the same whether you're in Tokyo or Toledo. Perfect that system, then replicate it 40,000 times worldwide. Or look at software companies. Their Lego brick might be a single feature that solves one specific problem really well. Perfect that feature, then add another compatible feature. Stack them together until you have a complete product. Why this works? There's magic in modularity. First, when something's small, you can test it cheaply and fix problems fast. A broken McDonald's burger system affects one restaurant. A broken overall concept kills the entire company. Second, repetition teaches you things you can't learn any other way. The first time you deliver your service, it'll be clunky. The 10th time, you'll spot inefficiencies. The 100th time, you'll have it down to a science. Third, modular businesses scale faster because growth becomes addition, not reinvention. You're not figuring out how to do something completely new, you're just doing more of what already works. Finding your Lego brick. So how do you find yours? Ask yourself, what's the smallest version of my business that someone would actually pay for? If you want to be a consultant, your Lego brick might be a 2-hour workshop that solves one specific problem. Perfect that workshop until participants rave about it, then offer it to more companies. If you're building an app, your Lego brick might be one simple tool that saves people 10 minutes a day. Make that tool incredibly good before adding anything else. If you're starting a service business, your Lego brick might be one standardized service package with a fixed price and predictable outcome. Here's the key insight. Stop thinking, how do I build one huge, amazing thing? Start thinking, how do I build one small, perfect thing that I can replicate endlessly? Your competitors are trying to be everything to everyone from day one. You're going to be the best in the world at one specific thing, then use that expertise to build everything else. That's how you win, one Lego brick at a time. Section 5, putting it all together. Here's how this all fits together in the real world. Let's say you want to start a consulting business. Step 1, backcasting. Don't start with, I'll offer consulting. Start with, in 18 months, I have 10 study clients paying me $150K annually for specific expertise. Work backwards. What expertise, what clients, what problems are you solving? Step 2, reference class research. Look up consulting business failure rates, typical client acquisition costs, how long it takes to get profitable. Set your expectations based on data, not hopes. Step 3, find your Lego brick. Maybe it's a 6-week training program you can deliver consistently. Perfect that one offering through multiple iterations with test clients before you expand. Step 4, maximize experience. Partner with someone who's built a consulting practice before or hire a business development person who knows how to sell professional services. Step 5, execute fast once you've planned slow. When you know what works, scale it quickly and decisively. The frameworks conflict sometimes. Should you innovate or copy? Should you be first to market or wait? That's where the integration comes in. Use reference class forecasting to understand the true cost of innovation, then decide if it's worth it. Your next steps. Bottom line, whatever big thing you're planning, resist the urge to start doing immediately. Spend more time thinking through the plan than feels natural. Test your assumptions cheap and early. Learn from others who've walked this path before. The 0.5% of projects that succeed aren't led by superhuman entrepreneurs. They're led by people who think slow and act fast. Your business can be in that 0.5%, but only if you flip the script on how you approach building it.